Gardens are very cute. We can all agree on that. What if they were more than just purely cosmetic though? Introducing GooP Shrubs. It allows you to create any crop you want, and with some creativity you can use it for a lot more. Before we begin, I want to note that this depends on a third-party plugin. Both the produce as well as the shrubs themselves must be MMO items. Let's begin. How does it work? Straight up, the way you expect it to work. This is a mango seedling. You place it down and it produces mangoes. Yum! You can customize everything. How often it produces, how many it can produce, how many it can hold at the same time. This bush, for example, can hold 3. Let's look at that YML file. You can see most of the variables under your control here. What MMO item the shrub produces, how often it produces a new MMO item, and how many it can store within. More on the rest later. Let's look at another shrub. This one produces apples at twice the speed. Let's go. What are those two? It also can hold up to 6, which is pretty cool, I must say. Wow. And it will break upon producing 12. Amazing. So, looking at the YML files now. The apples produce at twice the rate, because they generate 2 every tick. You can see that the apples also have a maximum generation of 12, so they will break after that. And then you can see their storage capacities, the apples having 6 instead of 3. Other option you can choose is whether or not they can be farmed with pistons. Look closely to notice that only the mangoes drop their content. This will allow players to make huge farms or let you prevent them from doing so. In the YML files, customizing this is just about adding 1 line more. And now, removing them. You know that usually you have to use shears to remove leaves. Otherwise, normally the block wouldn't drop. However, if it's shrub, the block will always drop, regardless of the tool you mine it with. Anyway, since you get to choose the material, you also basically get to choose which tool mines it faster, which will be the only effect. And finally, I will show you all the conditions under which you can restrict shrubs to grow. Let's begin with the apple shrub of the plains. So the apple shrub of the plains, which is actually pretty similar to the apple shrub of the wetlands and the apple shrub of the Olympus. Actually, I was just using the apple shrub of the plains. Let's go. Pretty similar in the sense that they are actually very different. Right now, only the apple shrub of the plains will produce any apples. Juicy apples at that. If I change the weather, rain. Did I put another... wrong bush. Okay, so now... the wetlands is producing. Amazing. And this one won't produce anymore. How to get the apple shrub of the Olympus to produce though? You guessed it. We have to make it, a thunderstorm. Let's go. Apple shrub of the Olympus is now producing its golden delicious apples. Pretty sweet. So now in the YML files, this is syntax of conditions. You may list any combination of conditions. So let's go to the next shrubs. The crepuscular pair and the anti-crepuscular pair, which are actually similar, surprisingly, to the mango seedling. And where is it? The moonshine blueberry. So why are these similar? So what do all these shrubs have in common? You guessed it. They all depend on the time of day to grow. If we set the time dawn, the crepuscular pear will start growing and the mango will, it will stop growing. Amazing. If we advance to noon, the mangoes will be back and the crepuscular peers will stop. And of course, if we advance it to sunset, we're going to be able to harvest golden pears from the anti-crepuscular pear bush. And finally, I wonder what time it's gonna be. Night. Night will cause the moonberries to grow. The giant blueberries. Amazing, right? So now in the YML files, this is the syntax of these conditions. Cabbage plants, corn plants, and tomatoes. The three vegetables I have to showcase. Except that tomatoes are actually fruit, but we're not going to talk about that right now. What I can say right now is that the cabbages already grow. But if you try to plant the corn or the tomatoes, they will not care. But why is that? This is a type of condition I like to call buffet exploration. It basically means how far you are from the origin, the 0, 0 chunk. Cabbages are said to grow near the spawn, which is within around 5,000 blocks. Let's go away. Home away. So now I'm about 10,000 blocks away, which is kinda sad because my cabbages won't grow. But lucky me, that will allow the corn to grow. Corn grows within like 5,000 and 50,000 blocks away from the origin, which is a pretty good range. Looking at the YML files, here are the names of these conditions. So let's go far away to plant some tomatoes now. Now we're in this village about 80,000 blocks away. And of course, corn and cabbages will not do absolutely anything. This is not their environment. However, the beautiful tomatoes will bloom here. Just look at them grow and like put their little smaller tomatoes in the leaves of the plant. Isn't that cute? So for these new set of conditions, we find ourselves at the surface, around sea level. I'm going to place down all these crops and see which grows. The root spider hive, the sunfruit perennial, the heavenly plant cake, the ruby rest bush that I can't even place down, and surprisingly, the only one that will grow, the surface grapevine. Wait for it. Boom. So the surface grapes grow on the surface. What about the root spider hive? Where can you harvest these small spiders? I guess they're around. Well, let's try the same thing again. I can plant the ruby rest bush actually here. Let's put the root spider hive, surface grapevine, the heavenly plant cake, and the sunfruit perennial. And wait, what is this? Spider egg, root spider eggs, which is kind of gross, but now going even deeper underground, home to the cavern, we were actually right up there a second ago. Let's try the same thing again. Sunfruit perennial, the heavenly plant cake, the surface grapevine, the root spider hive, and the ruby rest bush. Of course, the ruby rest bush is gonna grow ruby raspberries. And it looks pretty cute. I do want to note how the raspberry is on the mushroom, like exactly in the center of the block. That is the default type of shrub, ideal for transparent blocks such as leaves. So let's go to the sky. Home sky. Again, I can't plant these in there, but let's just try the root spider hive, these things. Wow, is that a heavenly pancake? It is. How surprising that the heavenly plant cake grows heavenly pancakes. If you notice that the pancake is not in the center of the block, that's what I call the peak type of shrub. More on that later. So let's just go on to the space. The very top of the world, 226, 227. And well, I'm just gonna do the same thing. Yeet. We have a very rare and exotic sun fruit. And this one, the fruit is floating way up there, in the center of the block above, and I call it the vat kind of shrub. And looking at their YML files, these are all the names of the conditions about to do. Note that you can combine them also. Finally, the Dutch cactus and the twisted elderberry, to show you the last set of conditions. Curiously enough, the mango seedling is back, for it has one of these three conditions. So let's see what these have in common, or should I say, why they are so different. Now, if you try to plant a mango in here, it is really not going to do absolutely anything. Same for the elderberry, I think you all already know where I'm going here. The cactus will only produce prickly pears in the nether. Look how they peak just above the solid block. So I'll just go to the overworld now. Forgot to prove the cactus won't produce over there. I'll just put the cactus in here and the twisted elderberry in here. I guess I'm just gonna spoil it. Nothing's gonna happen. So let's go to the end. Just plant some elderberries. A very strange fruit indeed, if you ask me. With that, we only have one condition more to go. The one that's not about what's going on outside the plant. The one that's about what's going on inside it. And now, with the power of GooP Custom Structures, an extension of my plugin with unprecedented usefulness, I can physically build the vending machine in the world using nothing but vanilla blocks. Actually, let me just craft it from zero. So I'll just complete this custom structure that I've previously defined, and it will turn into a simple vending machine. It will take 10 seconds to generate soda, and it works by just running the command to create a bush. Anyway, so the whole point of this is to show what the uncapped condition is for. So far, all the crops have had it. How will this one feel different? Well, the countdown for it to generate soda is 10 seconds. And uncapped basically means that it must have storage space to generate more produce. Crops that have this condition, their countdown won't decrease if they are full, so it will begin decreasing when you harvest them. This one, it doesn't care if it's full, so its countdown has been decreasing. 10 seconds passed, so the next one will instantly appear. But then you have to wait. Looking at the YML file, we can see that it is of type VAT, lacks any condition, and glows in the dark. Conditions left behind, one last question. What happens if you use flat textures instead of heads? So here, this is a custom textured iron ingot. Anyway, this is how flat textures look. Now let's just let it generate more leaves, enough so that it shows leaves in the 3 display slots. For technical viewers, these are the head and hands. Note that the head is upside down in the default type. Hey, there's the third. 44 actually, that's exact. Boom. And now I can dress in my epic steel leaf armor that I harvested in like 20 seconds. GooP Shrubs for ya, take care. So in the moment it produces 12, it will break. No, because I can't plant the giant moonberries in them. Are you serious though? Clear. There you go. These ones won't produce anymore, it's not their time. And I should really disable chat while I record from doing so. Hey, what is it, Sulfur's Mind? Oh my god.